Looking at this drum set, it looks normal, right? Just a plain kit with a 22-inch kick, no biggie. But what if I told you that the kick drum is only 8 inches thick? The story of this beautiful monstrosity starts over 2 years ago. If I'm not working, playing video games or owning my crafts as an intermediate drummer and songwriter, I spend my time on Facebook Marketplace. The algorithm has perfectly nailed down what piques my interests: graphics cards and other upgrades for my 2 aging gaming systems, 50s, 60s furniture that's made out of teak, cheap old cars that I desperately want to buy since my own one hit the bucket a few months ago, and of course, last but not least, drums. The last 2 years, I've been on the search for a pancake drum. The perfect size I've been looking for is a 22x8, though a 20x10 would have sufficed. This sort of weird size didn't used to be that rare. Real old vintage drums could easily be found as big as 28x10, and this was often because they were converted from marching band bass drums or orchestral drums, and they used to have that particular size, because these so-called pancake drums have a very special sound profile. Because of their odd sizes, they have a very big, boomy sound that dies down very quickly. But as the sound ideal has changed and microphone techniques have developed and come a long way, they don't make them like this no more. But I really like this sound, and I've always wanted to have one of these big drums. So, I've been scrolling on the marketplace, and I've found a few of these actually, but since they're often vintage, they go for at least 5,000 kroners, and I do not have that kind of money at the moment to just spend on a casual drum. But then one day, almost 2 years later, I was actually casually looking for my particular kick drum size, and I see one on sale. It's a part of a bigger mashed up together homemade kit. The whole kit costs 2,000 kroners. I rushed to send a message to the seller asking to buy only the kick if I was allowed to, and he agreed to let me buy it for 400 kroners. But I needed to get it fast because he was moving. So I called up my buddy who lives in the same city as he did, in Stockholm, because I don't live there, and I said, "Hello, dude, can you please pick this shirt up?" And he was kind enough to say, "Yeah, of course, you would have done the same thing for me." He picked it up, had it for a few weeks, and yesterday I went to Stockholm, had the pleasure of being there in the sun, drinking some beer, and waiting for a train that never came. And yeah, now I have it here in the studio. And before we talk about this drum fully and actually listen to it, I need to tell you a few things. Firstly, this kit only came with one drum head. It's an Ambassador Clear on one side, and on the other side it actually had one of these, just a cutout of nothing. And it probably made a very specific sound that they were going for, the last owner. I actually, on my way, since I had some time to spare in Stockholm, I went and bought an Evans head. It's the EK3 Frosted, a 2-ply coated drum head. And since I had some time to kill on the, like I said, the train station in Stockholm, I actually put it on there on the spot and just see what kind of sound it would make. And so firstly, we'll hear this drum with an Ambassador Clear on the Reso head, the Evans EQ Frosted on the batter side, and we'll see how it sounds from there. And then we'll have to make a few different adjustments. I want to see how it sounds with the configuration that the previous owner had before they left it to me. And I really think right now there's no padding inside of the drum, and I really want to see what it sounds like with a little bit of padding around all of the edge, because I think that's how I want it in the end. I want a big koomph that just disappears. So we'll see. And recording this drum set today, I have a 3-mic setup. We have the Beta 52A right here, as well as 2 cheap Behringer, how do you say it? Condenser microphones. One of the really cheap ones that you can get for like 60 bucks. And that's the setup I have for today. when it came from the original owner as well, they also had a pillow inside of the drum. So I'm gonna do the owner setup now with the hole in the back and the ambassador clear on the front, as well as a bit of a pillow inside. For me, this kind of setup kind of feels like it defeats the point of having a big drum, right? The sound just goes straight out and the click is there, but I want to hear the drum. So I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna go with this hollow drum right here. Let's try and put the EQ batter on the front here. For the last configuration here, which I think will actually be the configuration that I keep, I will put this ambassador clear here back on the Reso head side. And then this quilt that I have in here, I will actually tape to the sides around the whole drum. So it's touching a little bit everywhere, but not at one specific place, but I want it spread out a little bit along the whole thing, so that it has a soft inside, a velvet inside, so to speak. And we'll try that and see how that sounds. And after listening to all of those, what do we think? Was it a good purchase by me? Right now, I'd have to say no, actually. I'm not that satisfied with any of these sounds that I've managed to create today. And I think the reason is mostly because I don't have a proper resonant head. You see, I got a bit of a shock when buying the batter head for this drum. When I went to buy this, granted it's a 22-inch head and I haven't bought a 22-inch head before, but it's 1,000 kroners, about $100 for one head. And I thought I'd be able to get away with one batter and one Reso for around maybe 1,200 kroners or $120. And I think for me to be able to get that sound that I really want, I need that proper resonant head so that I can get a clear and good tone from the resonant, because right now it's very mumbly and not that good sounding. And that is why I've made a final adjustment here. I had a spare EMAD ring laying around, so I taped that to the inside of the ambassador clear, and then I actually put the quilt that I put inside of the kick, I actually put it on the bottom so that it touches properly both of the drum heads on both sides. And right now it sounds more generic and more of a kick, and you can't hear the bigness, the greatness of it, but I think that will have to wait until I get a proper resonant head. If you've enjoyed the video and this content, leave a like, leave a comment, tell me what part of the video you enjoyed. I highly appreciate it. If you didn't, leave a dislike and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.